Now, both of these gentlemen are going to spill their guts on the program tonight. Right, guys?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, ready.
Now, am I lying or am I telling the truth when I say that both of your telephones had problems, sudden problems? Ron, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, my telephone was, I've had it now for 3 years, and this is the first time ever it was out. And I wouldn't have known it was out unless I was getting frustrated. I thought, gee, I would not run a radio program this way. I'd call and see if things were going okay.
Yes, and so I was doing desperately.
Yeah, I picked up the line. It was dead on my end.
Dead on your end?
Dead on my end.
Dead on your end.
That's when I sent you the fax. I thought there's something going on here.
And Daryl, what about your end?
Well, my phone was, you know, the last time I was on your program, there was a stoppage of a complete break-in on our phone service during the middle of your program, and I thought, well, that's probably just one of those things. And so today, after the announcement came that I was going to be on the program with Ron tonight, my phone, in fact, it still has the loudest static you've ever heard on it, and no one can get through to it. And it's rather curious because this other one, the second phone line here is now having to be used, and this is just really, really strange. The phone company announced they would take care of everything, but they would only do it tomorrow.
You see, getting a busy signal on both numbers, I calculated the two of you were strategizing for tonight, talking to each other, not mindful of the time, and I just figured I'd try you at the bottom of the hour. This is, I don't believe in that many coincidences, and this is somewhat suspicious, I must say. So, if we are interrupted tonight with the phone setup we've got right now, it will go beyond suspicion. Now, do either one of you doubt that, of course, up on the website, you know, it's known you were coming on tonight. Would they really do something like that and screw with us in that way?
I believe they would. I don't know of any reason why they want us to talk about this.
Uh-huh.
Well, one of the reasons that it would be, I think, probably difficult for whomever in the intelligence community to allow this to go on is because nothing's going to be said that's illegal or wrong. In fact, it's been exposed quite well before by Ron and legally. The problem is that you can take legal channels, as he will prove tonight, and actually show the existence of UFOs with the spy satellites. So this type of program can actually occur.
I am, of course, very, very curious about spy satellites in general. Ron, your phone is not too great on that end. It's a little bit what I would call mushy.
Okay, is this better?
That's better. What'd you do?
I took the mouthpiece off and put it back on.
Okay, yeah, it's better. Definitely better.
Good.
Look, the rumor is that we have satellites either in polar orbits or geosynchronous orbits of some sort that can literally take photographs that would define something as closely as reading a license plate. That is the popular myth. Is it true?
Yes.
I knew it.
It's true about the polar orbits or the elliptical orbit satellites. It's not true about the geosynchronous orbit.
Okay, yeah, they would be, 22,300 miles or something up there.
That's correct.
But the polar orbiters, of course, are much lower orbits, and they really can get that kind of resolution, huh?
So let me define some of the terms here so that the listeners will really know what we're talking about.
Okay.
And if that's okay with you, resolution is the term used to describe the quality of the image that we can get. And it would be defined as the minimum distance between any two objects that we can see.
Right.
And the smaller that distance, the higher the resolution. Now, in 1978, intelligence forces defined 5 degrees of resolution. The first one would be detection. That is, can you locate a target? Can you see something? The second one would be general identification. That's when you determine the particular type of a target. Like an airplane versus a boat.
Right.
Then type 3 would be precise identification. That's discrimination within a target type. Then the fourth would be a description. Can you describe what it is, size, dimensions, configuration, layout, components, things like that. And the fifth being the one that really concerns us, that's technical intelligence. That's to determine specific characteristics and performance capabilities of your targets. Now, back in '78, we didn't have the degree of sophistication of sensors that we do now. Yet we were talking for a technical intelligence down to 4/10 of an inch. And that was in
4/10 of an inch.
4/10 of an inch.
Less than half an inch.
That's correct.
Based on that ability then, what would you estimate we have now?
I would say we've probably bettered that by an order of magnitude. Now, the problem we get into is we can't always do that, obviously. This is a photographic image, and then we have...
Depends on weather conditions, atmospheric conditions.
Yeah, you have a lot. I don't know about all your listeners, but driven out across the desert and you can see the shimmer above the roadway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those are air turbules.
Right.
And they're sort of the same thing as the layers that we get up in the sky that block the radar and things like that.
You bet.
And those wreak havoc with our sensors. They just really tear them up. The other thing is our viewing angle. Everybody's looked at a sunrise or a sunset and marveled at how beautiful that is.
Yes.
But you're looking through about 25 miles of atmosphere, and that's why the sun doesn't burn your eyes.
That's right.
You look at the same sun at high noon, and you can really hurt yourself.
Severe retinal damage possible.
You're going through a thin atmosphere.
Yes.
The same thing is true of these satellites. When you're looking straight down, excellent vision. As we get further and further out, we get signals called attenuated or soaked up, if you will, by the atmosphere. So we lose a lot of it there.
How many spy satellites do you think we have in the in orbit of one sort or another?
The number's classified. Let's just say if we have a constellation of 3 satellites in geosynchronous orbit, we could have a stereo picture of anywhere on the Earth's surface at any time.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd probably want a backup or two in case one of those would fail.
Yes, oh yes.
And then we go into the low Earth orbiters, or the elliptical orbit satellites.
There must be a lot of those.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those. And they're short-lived. See, the geosynchronous orbit satellites, they're up high enough where they'll last for, maybe many years before they run out of fuel.
Oh, sure, maybe a decade. Yeah. And you're right, the lower ones have shorter lives, but they're still pretty good. And I'm going now by the NOAA satellites. I take those images down directly from satellite every day.
Mm-hmm.
And they last quite a number of years, but they've got to be replaced every now and then.
Right. And they've got now where the shuttle can go up and replenish the consumables, the propellants that they use for attitude control. And that's their biggest problem right now.
Let me tell you a little interesting story.
Sure.
Maybe you can enlighten me. The NOAA satellite, the newest, latest, greatest that I think we've got up there at the moment in our constellation is NOAA 14. And NOAA 14, on the first day or two when it went up, sent back some of the most remarkable photographs I've ever seen. For example, I was able to look down at the city of San Diego and actually resolve buildings. Buildings, mind you. Now, I went on the air and I raved about that. This was like the first day they turned it on after they had launched it. Mm-hmm. Within 24 hours, all of a sudden, believe me, that kind of resolution was gone, and all we could see was the continental outline and the ocean and so forth and so on, but no buildings, nothing resolved like that. And I know damn well that they actually reduced the resolution.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, although it's difficult to do. It's easier to do when you've got the signal coming down to a ground station. But it's not something that's impossible to do. We change the thresholds of the sensors, and that's...
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so it's capable of a lot more resolution than it's giving. Now, for the purpose of weather forecasting, of course, you don't need to see buildings.
Correct.
But I found it interesting that before they got it, in quotes, adjusted, I could see buildings.
Yeah, they've got some remarkable imaging now. It's fantastic.
Yes.
It's really fun. If you access the net, you can see a lot of the early, around the Korean Missile Crisis, the Cuban Missile Crisis. You can see a lot of those images now. And some of those are just spectacular.
All right, let's get down to the nuts and bolts. I don't know how much you can and can't talk about. I know something about the KH series of satellites that we have, the spy satellites.